Made it. Made it. Welcome to I Ask No One, episode number 33. Last week was Rich Meyer of Highly Suspect was episode 31. This week is 33. I'm going to save 32 for a very special time, and that time is coming, hopefully soon. I was born March 2nd, along with my twin brother, who was also born March 2nd. And we've got one of our heroes that's going to be joining us, an exclusive I Ask No One interview. So stay tuned for that. And we got Luke here. Luke says his favorite thrash metal record, Overkill's Hello from the Gutter. I'm not familiar with that, unfortunately. I own Overkill's The Grinding Wheel, which was a few records ago. I don't own any of their early shit. So, dude, thanks always for joining. Cheers. Cheers to you. Next week is Thanksgiving. Eat up. Be merry and enjoy some family time. Cheers. Right. Jaeger at noon. Hopefully a sponsor soon. All right. So today in music in 1975, you know a guy named Elton John? Elton John he had a ceremony in 1975 today, November the 21st, to have his name be put on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Very cool. Elton John, that was my first date with Ashlyn, my girlfriend, my domestic partner. And when he came through, we were row 2 in Buffalo in 2018, September 15th. Absolute legend, Sir Elton John. Met him at the Hotel Bel Air once when I was there. But it got me thinking, with the Hollywood Walk of Fame, who was the first one and when? I was thinking maybe early 1900s or something like that. But Joanne Woodward, actress. You ever heard of her? I haven't. But Joanne Woodward was onto the Hollywood Walk of Fame February the 9th of 1960. And just notable stars that I've seen that jump out were Chris Farley and Bruce Lee, R.I.P. Funniest man in the whole wide world. You want to see me laugh hard, it's Chris Farley. Me and my brothers, we still quote him every time we're together. Farley was inducted onto the Hollywood Walk of Fame August the 26th, 2005. He had passed in 98, R.I.P. Chris Farley. And then Bruce Lee, the almighty Bruce Lee, was in April of 93. He was put on the Star Walk of Fame. And, when I was doing my research and I saw Elton John was 1975 Walk of Fame on this day, it got me thinking. When I was living in Los Angeles for 2 years, and the 2 years prior I was in San Diego, I had an audition at the Stella Adler Theater, and I spoke more about this in the Mike Lane I Asked Someone interview a few episodes back. You should check it out. But at the Stella Adler Theater, it was an audition for a Super Bowl commercial. It was for a Doritos Super Bowl commercial, and it was for drummers. And just long story short, I showed up there, few my sticks, and basically it was up to us. You see a bunch of kitchen appliances and different, cutlery, and you got a toaster oven and whatever. But then you have a Doritos bag, and you have to make a 30-second, slate noise taped beat with a Doritos bag and all these kitchen appliances. So what I did was I put the Doritos bag, right at my foot, and it was kind of like my crinkle kind of bass. And I just raised hell and kept Dave Grohl in mind and Lars Ulrich and Sean Kinney, and they chose me. They chose me and 4 or 5 other drummers. And I don't look at myself as a technical drummer, proficient. There were street performers there and everything, and it was kind of intimidating. But I just went up there and just bashed, And I remember walking back to my car from the Stella Adler Theater, and I was walking over some of these Walk of Fame, the stars, And I kind of got emotional there, I moved to LA to get closer to I moved to California to chase this dream of mine. And then here I was getting chosen for this Super Bowl commercial, which it didn't appear on the Super Bowl. I got to locate that video. It's really awesome what we did with Mike Lane and a few of the others. But good memories there. Good memories there. I remember driving home to Culver City, and Eagles Hotel California came on the radio, and I had a moment. So there you go, Elton John. Yeah, Joanne Woodward, she won the Oscar in 1957 for a movie called The Three Faces of Eve. You ever see it? I haven't. But quote of the day. Quote of the day. So today's quote, I'd like to have a quote, has to do with this. A shot in the dark beats a walk in the park. That's a line from AC/DC's latest record, first record in 6 years, called Power Up. Yes, I still buy CDs. And, geez, it sounds great. Slash, he was recently quoted, Slash from Guns N' Roses, he's digging it too. This record, from a drummer point of view, hearing, Phil Rudd back there, the Kinji Cat, is just awesome. Second song on there is called Rejection, and it got me thinking, I get rejected daily in this line of work in real estate, daily. And by 8 p.m. sometimes it gets a little tiring, right? But it builds character, and how you handle rejection and come back. It's all right. I've been very busy. I have a very cool showing at a almost $1 million home at 3 o'clock, which I'll be getting ready for after I film this hangout session with you guys. And here we go. Through the Mists of Time, Witch's Spell. They close with Code Red, which is a really sweet song. Check it out. But the lead single, Shot in the Dark. A shot in the dark beats a walk in the park. And R.I.P. Malcolm Young. Angus Young, lead guitar. His brother Malcolm was on rhythm guitar. Passed away from complications with dementia a few years back. And man, that leads me right into one of the great rhythm guitarists of all time. Hetfield would say the same thing. Dave Mustaine would say the same thing of Megadeth. Scott Ian, his favorite all-time rhythm guitarist, Scott Ian, rhythm guitar of Anthrax, who I'm going to be talking about today. Scott Ian's favorite is Malcolm Young. He's got AC/DC tattoos all over and shit. When I was first getting into rock, I remember when the Razor's Edge record came out, 91, I was 3 years old in the back seat. My dad's playing Money Talks. And apparently, according to him, I knew the come on part of the chorus, which is pretty cool for Dad to share. Scott Ian of Anthrax, all right? So going back to November of 2011, when I think of concerts in November, I think of two concerts, and that was a few weeks back. I was talking about Mastodon, the Dillinger Escape Plan, and Red Fang. That was November 27th or something like that. 2 weeks prior, I was at the Town Ballroom for Anthrax, Testament, and Death Angel. And what a time that was. And that was, I remember showing up. I had my long hair. Shit, I traveled over 12,000 miles for Metallica that year. There were so many memories, but that one is just a November show that sticks out to me very much. I remember showing up and I had a will call ticket. So I showed up, got my ticket, and Joey Belladonna was inside there, and I walked right past him on my way out, and I was like, oh shit, there's Joey Belladonna, singer of Anthrax. He's from Oswego, New York. He's an upstate New York guy. Anthrax are from New York City, so I've kind of got this kinship with them, being from New York State. But they're one of the big four in thrash metal. Thrash metal. You got Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, and Anthrax. And if I was to name a number 5, it'd probably be Exodus. But number 6 would be Testament. And number 7 would be probably Overkill. And then number 8 would probably be Death Angel. So, very fun night. Yankee Stadium, I just saw the Big Four perform there. This is where I got this shirt. Yankee Stadium, the Big Four performed there in September. So here I was a few months later seeing Anthrax at my home, Buffalo, New York, and openers Death Angel, right? So Death Angel, their bassist looked a lot like James Hetfield from the 80s. I remember seeing that. That was really cool. But Mark Asagita, the lead singer of Death Angel, he had dreads down to his, knees back there. And at the time, I was not familiar with Death Angel at all. But I loved metal. And they were a really, really good time, Death Angel. Mark Asagita, lead singer, he is a VIP member at the Robert Sinsky Vineyards, where Leonard, my young brother, used to work. And they'd hang out, Leonard would service him. In fact, Mark Asagita, the lead singer, again, Bay Area thrash metal legends, Death Angel, he slept at Leonard's spot. He was a little too drunk to drive, and Leonard drove him back to his place, and Mark spent the night there, which was hilarious. There's a picture of Leonard. There's a baby picture of my little brother in one of the winemaker's bathrooms at Robert Sinsky, and Mark had to use that bathroom once, a few years back actually, and he took a picture of baby Leonard with all that hair. Len's bald as shit now, but he shared that with Len, and that was pretty sweet. But they would hang out, and he's definitely a guy I'm going to be having on IANO in the coming days, months. Got big plans in 2021. So Death Angel, in the town ballroom, it fits, 1,200 people, and that's our hometown kind of sweatbox, to go there and bang. And Cannibal Corpse to Black Label Society to Mastodon and Opeth, and just to see some of my heroes in that close, intimate setting. Got that trapezoidal rail. I was right up there front with Ryan, and just surrounded by older fellows that used to see Anthrax in the 80s. That, you see all these weathered faces, and then here's our little baby faces right up front. Death Angel left the stage. I was like, wow, I got to check those guys out. And I definitely would be checking those guys out that next month, December of 2011, for Metallica's 30th anniversary at the Fillmore in San Francisco for 4 nights. December 5th, coming up, I got my buddy Eric Lyson joining me on I Ask No One. He's seen Metallica over 150 times. And we'll talk about how Death Angel opened up for Metallica one of those nights. And shit, that's going to be a good time. So Testament came out. Now, Testament are also from the Bay Area, San Francisco. They got their going in the mid to late 80s. Metallica from the Bay Area, they were there in the early 80s. They were like the pioneers of the whole scene. There's them and Exodus and Slayer down south in LA. And, Megadeth coming out, and then there's Testament, man. Alex Skolnick, I've met. Chuck Billy, I've met. First speeding ticket I ever got was to The Ritual by Testament. Is off their Ritual record, and I remember seeing Skolnick outside the Whiskey after the Lemmy Memorial gig there, and I brought that up to him, and he got a laugh out of that, and he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry about that." I was like, "Oh no, it was worth it." But The Ritual, favorite Testament song. The record, not many people like too much, but I love that record. And then I met Chuck Billy, lead singer, outside AT&T Park where the San Francisco Giants play after Metallica played their Too Heavy for Halftime show. The Super Bowl was playing in San Francisco, and Metallica, for the great American band that they are, would love to have seen them play the Super Bowl. I still feel someday that's going to happen. Who's playing the Super Bowl this year? I think it's The Weeknd, or is it? Am I saying that right? Yeah, I'm just looking at some comments here, guys. Thank you. Chuck Billy, meeting him was sweet. One thing I remember about Testament, and that was the first time I saw Testament. And as a 15-year-old, I was getting into just being really impressioned by the whole metal scene. And I remember I downloaded every single record by Testament. And those records never really stuck to me, besides a few songs. There were songs off Practice What You Preach called Envy Life, which they ended up playing, which was sweet. Chuck Billy, the lead singer, burly kind of dude, Native American. he's got this microphone stand that when he sings, he like air guitars with the stand, and he almost did it almost too much. And I thought that was kind of funny, actually. Here's this guy, he's got his tummy out, and he's just fucking, air guitar in the stand, and but belting out some of those lyrics. Envy Life was huge. They were coming off, I think, the Dark Roots of Thrash record. A lot of these thrash bands in the turn of the 2010, the decade, with the big four that came out. These shows, Metallica bringing on, Slayer, Megadeth, and Anthrax. They played 2 shows in the U.S. One was in Indio, California. I was there. Yankee Stadium. I was there in 2011. I was backstage with Metallica in Indio. But they started out overseas, and the big four would play shows, and this really opened up. I get the chills thinking about it. It opened up fans like me to bands that I really wasn't too familiar with. Anthrax, even Slayer, Megadeth. I mean, it wasn't until the big four shows at the age of, 22, 23 that I started to really get into the other metal bands instead of just being, Metallica, Godsmack, Alice in Chains, Sabbath, and Rammstein. It was now getting into Priest, and Motorhead, and Slayer, and changed my life, these shows and this band too. So seeing them in an intimate setting was huge. And one of the songs that Testament played was Electric Crown off that Ritual record. And I remember hearing that and really getting stoked on that. So Death Angel. Which record should I get by Death Angel? I don't own a Death Angel record. Actually, I lied. I own the Moth, that record. But the early Death Angel stuff, what do I get? I'm really unsure still which one I should start my collection with. So Testament left the stage, and then on came Anthrax. Anthrax, man. They had a record called Worship Music. Worship Music. And that, to this day, is the best sounding record I have ever heard in my life. That's right. Worship Music by Anthrax. I'm not going to get into a background of how the CD was released and, with the lead singer that they were going to have and all that bullshit. But the big four really rejuvenated Anthrax. And here they came off this record, Worship Music. It just sounds so crisp and warm and lean and just great. Great drum sound. Fight Until You Can't No More. They open up with a song called Earth on Hell, which, man, I love that song. Love it. I remember living at my parents' at that time, driving to and from the JCC, and it was just snowing like crazy. And the CD that I had in my Subaru was Worship Music. So those CDs that when you listen to them, it brings you right back. I think there's nothing better than a time machine than music, and it's fun to do that. So Worship Music. We're approaching December and the snow time. That CD will be playing a lot. But Earth on Hell, love that song. In the End, they played, which is great. I'd say my favorite song off that Worship Music record is Crawl. I'll post maybe a link or two below to some of my favorite songs off the Worship Music record. They were touring on that. And again, intimate setting, town ballroom, these big metal giants from the past. Jeez. They played a song called Indians. So Among the Living. What record was that? Among the Living? I'm mind blanking right now. Anthrax had a 1987 record, their most popular one. And there's a song on there called Indians. And Scott Ian in the middle section of that yells, "War Dance!" And it's this palm muted riff. I mean, Scott Ian, one of the best right hands in the business, going into that breakdown. There are moments when I think back to concerts, why my neck is permanently damaged, spine and everything. I mean, when I'm driving, checking my blind spot, I got to go like this. But it's all worth it. No fucking regrets there. But when they went into that breakdown part, Indians, I was going nuts. And I just felt it right there. It's kind of like, oh yeah, I remember that too. So great time, man. This is such a fun, big, blowing the the roof off that place. It was awesome, and I miss it. I was kind of rushing to get ready for this. I had some things to take care of this morning, but I don't have any souvenirs. It's in the other room, so maybe I'll take some pictures and post them on my IANO one. Amazing time, amazing time. So the guitarist that was with Anthrax at the time, his name is Rob Caggiano, and he makes these like funny faces when he's like going down here like solo. He's just like, you know. And Steve Wood knows what I'm talking about, but just ripping. And he's no longer with the band. He left and went to Volbeat. I just secured Rob Caggiano to appear on IANO 1 early next year, and I can't wait to talk to him. And he's in Volbeat, and the Volbeat's got the same management as Metallica and Cage the Elephants and Eric Church and Disturbed and who else? There's a bunch of Baroness. So the door is starting to open here, and IANO 1 will always be about my previous. It's just going to be me. It's my previous concert memories that I could rewind back to with you and get goosebumps and the heartbeat and everything like that, and have a conversation with you. And but this could very well turn into something I'm interviewing my heroes, connecting in this kind of quarantine setting where a lot of these bands have downtime. And what better way to shoot the shit and join on Buffalo, New York's best YouTube podcast show in the world. So big plans, exciting stuff, great outlet for me. And thanks again for joining. That November show, I'll never forget. And I'll take some pictures of the souvenirs. A few things I came across this week I wanted to bring up to you. I checked the iTunes. I checked the iTunes top 10. Sometimes we'll do that here and there. And I saw Justin Bieber's got 2 songs in the top 10, and which is just a sin because there's so much beautiful music being released this year. Right at the top, the number 1 song at the top, iTunes, is Eddie Van Halen, God bless him, cheers, R.I.P., the greatest guitarist of all time. His son, Wolfgang Van Halen, came out with a track. I didn't know about that. He came out with the track, what was it called? Dedicate? I forget. I'll post it. I'll include it in the description below, right? With all my timestamps. And that's number 1. And I checked out the video, and it's just a tribute to his dad. And I got a little choked up, At the end of the video, it has Eddie Van Halen leaving a voicemail to his son. It was just pretty much, hey, I just wanted to say hello, or I just wanted to hear your voice, see how everything's going. You could hear the smile in his voice. And, that meant a lot to me. So I know the relationship I have with my dad, and seeing that was pretty special. Love you, Dad. So Eddie Van Halen, he was married to Valerie Bertinelli. I didn't know who she was, but my mom, I was just talking to her this past weekend. Always nice to see mom and dad here and there. And mom knew of Valerie Bertinelli, actress or model or something like that. Mom, if you want to comment. But it got me thinking when my mom was talking about Valerie Bertinelli, after Eddie Van Halen died, they were no longer together. They were divorced. And Valerie had a really touching tribute to Eddie Van Halen, that so much so it sounded like they were still together. Like she was talking about him, like they were best friends, still married. And it was on blabbermouth.net, where I'm on twice a day. Gavin Rossdale of Bush, one of my favorite rockers of all time. He, in his own little way, I wish I had this quoted, but he's like, yeah, something along the lines of, when he dies, his ex-wife is not going to say nearly as good a shit as Valerie did about Eddie Van Halen. So it goes to show you how much of a quality dude Eddie was in the industry and in his personal life with his son and with his ex-wife. And Gwen Stefani's probably not going to be saying so many good things about Gavin Rossdale. Who the hell knows? So thought that was pretty cool. And then guess what? I secured another person for IAS-No1. Metallica's lead security guy, Seth Fromberg. Just going to keep going, man. I'm going to keep going. Seth Fromberg, he's got the biggest forearms. My forearm is a little lacking, you know, at the gym. But Seth Fromberg, he was, I just hit him up. Seth, I got connected to from Taylor Bingley, who I interviewed on IAS-No1, Gojira manager, tour manager, my buddy, Bills fan. And he connected me with Seth Fromberg. Metallica came through the arena here in Buffalo in 2018 in November. Yeah, that was right. It was in November. And Seth got my twin brother last minute. Ryan was just heading out to Greece soon. He got my twin brother Ryan in and my cousin Chris. Love you, Chris. But this Seth is the lead security, man. He works with STS Security. He is worldwide recognized in security and in the business as not only the best, but the nicest. And this reminds me of my favorite quote of all time. It's nice to be important. It's even more important to be nice. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who I have aspirations of sometime having him on IAS-No1 someday. So that was, I hit him up. He's at a Kimbo Slice. You remember Kimbo Slice? His son fights MMA, and he was at the Mohegan Sun for a MMA match. And I have a conversation with him this week. We're going to set up a time next month. So he's going to appear on IAS-No1. I mentioned this is going to be turning into some interviews, right? So next week, I'm going to talk about a gig. I don't know which gig it's going to be, but in December, I got Eric Lyson on Zoom. Eric is going to be checking in from Gavle, Sweden, right outside of Stockholm. The next week, I'm going to be having Seth Fromberg of Metallica. I mean, it's just one step closer to getting the actual guys, right? Pretty cool. But Seth, what a nice dude. You talk about Thanksgiving. Seth, you watching now, man, I'm thankful for you. Thank you, dude. Thank you. And then the week after that, I'm going to have bodybuilder Douglas Fruki, my favorite bodybuilder of all time. And I befriended him at the Gold's Gym in Venice Beach. He's going to be checking in. So I got Metallica fans, I got security, I got bodybuilders coming on. And if you want to come on, let me know. Shoot me a message. And just really excited about that stuff. So Linkin Park, they released this Hybrid Theory 20th anniversary. And just in closing, just talking about the quarantine here, I was watching the DVD and the fans interacting with the bands and the band up on stage, and they're going down to the fans, getting in the face and going to restaurants. No one's wearing masks. So I'm watching this video from 2000, 2001, and people are so close talking to each other and they have no masks on. I've grown so accustomed to seeing people with masks interacting with each other, especially in the real estate business. You know, it's no joke. And it's really, you know, downstairs lives a very smart man named Jim Phillips and his wife Lucy, my landlords. Very nice people. They've been in the medicine field for their whole lives. You know, they raised their families here. They've been here for 50 years. This old home built in the late 1800s. And the one adjective he used to describe this pandemic early on is the word monumental. And it's quite monumental what's going on, don't you think? So, get a chance, check out these two videos, and maybe why don't you just subscribe? Share with your friends. Please, I want to get this out to as many people as possible. This is for me. This is fun for me. If some want to join in and subscribe and like, it's fantastic. But it's been fun. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay hungry, and stay heavy. Have a great day and a greater Thanksgiving. Thank you. See ya.